Hello again, I'm Mike Vanderpool of Valley Apps. Today it's going to be a shorter video. We're just going to be talking about labels and or folders. Now again, of course, as I always say, they are called labels by Google, and by good reason, because you can have a message that is in two labels versus just putting it in one folder. But in all actuality, they act like folders. But we're gonna, for the sake of argument and for this video and moving forward, you'll see me intermix them, but know that officially they're called labels. So with that, let's get into it. I have a couple emails that I sent myself into my test box, and I want to talk about how to move these into labels and create new ones. So I've named them green, red, blue, and kind of blue, and this will all make sense here in a minute. So first of all, green. Let's say this is Mr. Green or a client that's green, and I want to keep all his emails cataloged and moved out of my inbox and into labels. So I don't currently have a green label on the left hand side. Again, we can find our labels right underneath our drafts calendar outbox. These are things that we've made, but it'd be right underneath, usually on your box, depending on how you have it set up, underneath sent or drafts. So from here, we're going to go all the way down to the bottom. We're going to hit that more button. Once we hit that more button, you'll notice at the very bottom we have two different areas. We have manage labels and we have create new label. I found this is the easiest way to create labels, so we'll talk about both these, but I'm going to go ahead and simply hit that plus button. Once I do that, I'm going to name this green. So I can have the ability to place it as a top tier, which all these would be top tier, or nest it underneath something. And when we get to kind of blue, you probably guess where we're going with this. I'm going to nest kind of blue underneath blue to show you. And that may be project one or client, let's say, Able Crane Company, and then underneath there you work with John and Lisa, and you might have Able Crane Company, and then you might have a folder underneath that that says John and Lisa. But we're going to keep this at the very top. So I'm going to go ahead and create green. Now, once I do that, you'll notice it shows up here. Now, this is your label, and what I can do is go into this message. I don't even need to open it up. I can drag this into green, right? I can drag it in and drop it. I can select it. I can hit move to. I can select it this way as well and move it to green. Or I can add a label. And you do it this way and select green and hit apply. Now you'll notice one thing. The label is still in your inbox. It won't move it, but it will label it. So what that means is you'll see it in your inbox. It's still in your inbox, and it has this tag or this label. And we'll change that to actually be green in a second. But what that means is it is in your inbox because you haven't moved it out, but it also is labeled. So this is one of the differentiators between this and what we would consider as a traditional folder, on your desktop or in other applications. So if I hit green, you'll notice that that's in there, right? But it's also in inbox. So that's why we get the term label. Now, if I wanted to move it out of my inbox, once again, I could select here and hit move, or simply just go here and drag this into green. And you'll see what happens when I do that. Now, when I grab this into green, it's going to take it out of your inbox. So again, just two different ways. You can have them in multiple places. It's not going to create duplicates of your emails. It's just going to label them and have them in different areas. So you can almost think, while it's not, I don't want to confuse you, you can almost view the inbox as its own label or its own folder. But again, and you'll see that on some other applications, but not when inside of Gmail. But again, I like to organize my inbox, so this is a great way. So once we go to green, we can notice all the information. I dragged it out of there. Of course, if you wanted to push it back to your inbox, again, we could hit that, and we can hit move to, and we could throw it right back into our inbox, or we could drag it into our inbox as well. So I can just throw it back into here, and then you'll notice, boom, there it is. All right, so I'm going to leave it out there for now because I want to show you one of the cool things that Google has to offer, and that is actually changing the color, right? So I can change the color to actually reflect that it is green, and you'll notice it changed the label over here, but it also has this green label, and that's going to be something that comes into play at the very end of this discussion when we talk about filtering, something that is a little bit of an advanced feature, but I want to cover it in this video. So now that you have green, we could do the same here. So I'm going to say, okay, I want to create a new label. I need red, right? So red, create. Then I need to create a new label. I need blue. All right, create. And then I want to create a new label. And this is where it gets a little different. I want to create kind of blue, but I want to nest it under blue. right? So the parent is going to be blue. So if you notice, what I did is I named it, I click this button, and I'm going to nest it underneath blue. So if I hit create there, I'll show you what that looks like. So now that we have these red, blue kind of greens, I want to just drag these in so I can do whatever. So we know here's red. Again, hit the 3 dots, label color, red. Now I want to go here, click this. I'm going to show you a couple different ways to do this. I just want to add a label. I want to keep it in my inbox, but I wanted to have this cool label here. So what I'm going to do is go over here, and I'm going to find my red, and I'm going to hit apply. And that's going to apply that label there for you, right? So it's in your inbox, and it's got that red. We'll do the same thing with blue. So what we need to do over here is go to blue up here at the top, and we're going to say, okay, we want that to be blue. Blue. And while we're here, so changing color of multiple items. So I only want to label that one blue. So I'm actually going to go in and label this one a different blue. So this is kind of blue, right? Just for demonstration purposes. So again, I'm going to label this one. Come over here, label it blue, right? And this one I'm not going to label right now. But what I'm going to do is show you what happens here. Is I'm going to grab this. I'm going to throw it into kind of blue, right? So now if I go to kind of blue, you'll notice that's in there, right? So it's in that folder. And then blue, it's also in blue, right? So we got it in blue. And then we can go down to, red just to show you. Red's in there, right? But it's also in inbox. So it has its own label because this one's still in the inbox. But if we go back to the blue, because we moved it into the blue, or the kind of blue, the blue's still out there. We moved kind of blue in there. It's not labeled as inbox, which means it's not also in the inbox. It's simply filed in here. So those are good description. Obviously, it doesn't have the kind of blue label. But if I took this kind of blue and I moved it into the inbox, right? So now I've moved it back into the inbox. You'll see it has that kind blue / kind of blue. So blue is the parent, and kind of blue is the child, if you will, and that's the way we look at it here. So then if you go back here, just to explain that, if I go into kind of blue, you're going to see it has this inbox, and that's the label indicating that it's also in your inbox. So a very cool way to do this. And then the other thing too, that is if I go here and I hit archive, okay, what's that do is that's going to take it out of here. But once again, if you could guess it, it's going to be in your green. So you don't even need really to file them if you're labeling them. So in this case, I could go through here and say, okay, I want this one, just archive it, or I could drag it, or I could move it up here. So multiple different ways to do this. Go ahead and archive that just for subject. So now I'm going to talk one more second, hopefully. I don't want to get this too long, but I want to talk a little bit about filtering. And what I mean by that is, how can I create a filter? There's multiple things you can do with filters, but I want to show you this. It's something I use a lot in my personal and in my life at Valley Apps, and that is if Mike emails me or fill in any customer here, I want it to come into my inbox and already have these labels associated. And that really keys me in because I can label my important customers, I can label important bills, and whatever I need, it shows me a visual that I need to pay attention. I'm someone that gets 1,000 emails a day, literally. So this is something that I live and die by, and it's really good with customers. I've seen other instances where people use colors to say like waiting on or action items, and I'll show you a way I deal with that in our advanced tutorial that will come shortly after this one. But for sake of argument, let's go ahead and select this message. Now we know we can hover over these things, but when we see a drop down, either an arrow or these 3 dots, we know if we select it, it's going to give us a couple options. Now we're going to focus on this one as to filter messages like these. So what I want to say is, okay, if Mike at Valley Apps, remember we're in my test account, so I'm hello today. But what I'm going to say is from Mike at Valley Apps. Now I could put in a subject line, has words in it, has attachment. For in this case, I just want everything that Mike Vanderpool emails me from Mike at Valley Apps to come in with a label that says Vanderpool, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just come here, and once again, let me go back. I'm going to cancel this really quickly. I'm going to go to my inbox. You could be anywhere and do this. By the way, you could be in all mail. I'm going to go ahead and select this message because I know it's from Mike Vanderpool. I'm going to hit the 3 dots. I'm going to go filter messages like these. Now from here, what I'm going to do is create this filter. So when I create this filter, I can have a couple different options. I can have it skip the index and archive. So maybe these are just emails that come from your bank that you don't even, or whatever. Maybe bank's a bad descriptor, but emails of a newsletter or stuff that you want it not to hit your inbox. You just want it to go right to a label, or you want it to go right to the all mail because you don't want it to clutter color things up. You can have a star applied to it. But in this case, what I want to do is apply a label. So when it comes in, it's going to have one of those labels. So when I drop this down, that's going to show all my labels, but I don't have one right now for Mike Vanderpool. So what I'm going to do is create a new label. So I'll hit create new label, and I'm going to say M Vanderpool, right? So I'm going to hit create. If I want to apply that label, you can go through and see all these different things. Again, some of these are pretty advanced, like templates. But again, you could use a filter that if someone emails you for appointment status or something, you could have a template. This is more in the advanced discussion later, that sends them back an automated email with a form or whatever. Again, that's a bit advanced for now. Mainly, I want you guys just to be able to filter emails. So once again, you're just going to be probably focusing on applying a label or possibly skipping and archiving it. So I'm going to go ahead and create this label, and it's going to bring up all these things from everybody, and I'm going to say, okay, cool. When this comes in, did that not work? This should have, filter was created. All right, so if I come down here, we will see M Vanderpool. I don't know why that filter is not working. Well, this is the demons sometimes that happen. Let me see what's going on here really quickly. So let's try this one more time. Filter messages like these from Mike Vanderpool, create filter. I want to apply the label, M Vanderpool, and oh, this is what I missed. Always something. Also apply filter to 10 matching conversations. Really important if you want it to be retroactive. What I set up would anything new inbound would label, but if you want it to be retroactive and go to all the messages that were already delivered from Mike Vanderpool, you need to select this bottom check, which is also apply filter to 10 matching conversations. I'm going to create that filter, right? So now that I have this filter, if I go back, you will see now I have, it's a blue, but it's also from Mike Vanderpool. So I'll change again, just so you guys see this. I want Mike Vanderpool to stand out. So I'm feeling orange today. Well, orange, I don't like orange. Never mind. I'm going to go to something like, we'll go purple. All right, so now you can see this blue because it's relevant to blue. It's filed in blue. It's also, well, labeled blue and also labeled M Vanderpool because it's from them, but this came in from a filter. So really nice way that if, and this may blank my screen really quickly, but I'm going to quickly send a inbox or send an email and you'll see how it comes in. So bear with me. Hopefully you can still hear me. Mike at Belly Apps. Oh, sorry. I'm sending this to my other one. Hello. We're going to do this example of a filter. Stand by. I'm coming back. So filtered and send. All right. Hopefully I'm back and you can see me. Let's see how long it takes to come in. It might take a minute here, as long as I send it to the right person. Let's see. I just moved back, so you might go blank. Okay. I might have rushed that a little bit. I don't know. Let's do a quick refresh. Let me check my other box to see if it's sent out. So I'm going to go into my sent mail in my other box really quickly. And hello, this is an example of a filter. Looks like it's just taking a minute. There we go. So it finally came in. So you'll notice I didn't touch this. This is the one that's an example of a filter. It's already labeled M Vanderpool. So when you send it in, this is a prime example of a filter. And it's already filed here. So it comes in. You have taken no action. It's already automatically applied this label through the filter. And if I go over here, it's in my inbox. So it actually has inbox filter. Everyone does. It has an inbox label applied, if you think of it that way. And then if I go to M Vanderpool, you'll see that that's there as well. It's in my inbox, right? But it's also in M Vanderpool, and also my old messages that I sent in this test box are there. So to recap, we talked about how to create filters by hitting more and create new filter, or sorry, we talked about how to create labels. You hit more and then hit that create new label. And then we also talked about filters. If you want to set up filters, you'd select one of those messages, hit the 3 dots, and filter messages like this. Hit create filter. You would apply a label to it, either create a new one or apply one that you already have, and then also remember to hit also apply filter to the other matching conversations if you want it to be retroactive. Again, my name is Mike Vanderpool. Sorry for all the demons here. I don't know what happened there, but it seems like everything worked out. I like to keep it light and fun. It's not so serious. Remember, you can always undo things in G Suite, and I appreciate you bearing with me. Again, Mike Vanderpool with Valley Apps, and we'll see you next time when we're talking about more advanced cool features. Have a good one.